What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. Michigan State loses a tough one to Purdue, 62-67 in the third round of the Big Ten tournament. Michigan State's second game. This was Purdue's opening game, and this was a game that I feel like for majority of the game that Michigan State looked like the better team. I think defensively they brought incredible intensity, and they forced only two Purdue players to score over in double digits. Purdue, or Zach Edey, obviously got his 29 points. Lance Jones had 10, but it was an inefficient 10, 1 for 5 from the three-point line. Purdue was obviously hampered a little bit with Braden Smith only playing 26 minutes. I'm glad to see he was all right. He came up. It kind of looked like his knee buckled there on the one drive in the second half there, but I was glad to see him able to come back in the game. You hate to see any injury like that. Braden is a really good player and seems like a good dude overall. So I was glad to see him get back out on the court. But Fletcher Lawyer as well, only 5 points, but he was only 1 for 1 from the 3-point line, and the 1-3 he hit was kind of a dagger to the heart. Not that it put the game out of reach. It only made it a 3-point Purdue lead. The score was tied, but it just felt like a dagger because the score was tied. It was, I think, like a minute 15 seconds left, and he just cashes the corner three because Malik, which rightfully so, you had to do that. Malik doubled off of him, and he was camping in the corner, and Edey, credit to Edey, he made a good pass to get the ball out to Fletcher, and he clutched up and made a shot. That's something that we seen last year in East Lansing. Fletcher, made good plays down the stretch, and it definitely attributed and helped them win that game, and it helped them win this game as well. He came up when it mattered most. So I mean, hats off to him. In terms of Michigan State, Malik Hall, I thought he had a good game. 12, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. I mean, he did what he can. He had to help on Edey a lot, especially with most of our centers, most of our team in foul trouble. We had let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with at least 4 fouls. Maddie was the only one to foul out, and hats off to Maddie as well. While we're on him, 10 minutes, most of those were in the second half, 1 for 2 from the field, 7 rebounds, and he played incredible defense on Zach Edey. Obviously, he did use all 5 of his fouls, but I mean, when he was in the game, that's when Michigan State made that run to get back in the game. It looked like Purdue was maybe kind of starting to pull away from them, and when he came in the game, he did a lot to be able to steady the waters down low, made stuff tight for Zach Edey down there. Edey was obviously still able to score, but I think, and you heard the broadcast even talking about it, it felt like Purdue, like a lot of their players, Edey included, like that this was a very physical game that Michigan State was able to get into them, and I think Maddie had a lot to do with that, especially in the second half. Tyson Walker, he hit some shots early, and he made a few plays late as well. 15 points. Tyson, unfortunately, four turnovers. He had some wide open shots as well. 3 for 7 from 3. If he gets one of those to go, Jaden 0 for 4 from 3. If each of them get one of those to go, obviously this is a different game. Get one more of those to go. Malik 0 for 2 from 3. AJ 0 for 1 from 3. 22% overall from the 3-point line. I mean, we were getting good looks pretty much all game, and just none of them were falling. AJ Hogard, he showed up again. I feel like showed up for the most part pretty much all game. Same thing as last game. We didn't see it, scoring wise. He only had 8 points, but 10 assists, 4 rebounds, a block. I felt he was engaged. Defensively, he did have a moment in the it was the beginning of the second half, and it was kind of when Purdue kind of went on a little run to get it to like 7-9 points, and he didn't box out and didn't find someone on a Purdue shot and miss, and Purdue ended up getting the long offensive rebound, kick out for a 3, and I even tweeted at the time, like, this is not ideal. You were kind of hoping that the trains didn't come off the track there, and thankfully the team responded, and they didn't. Trey Holloman again had another solid game with 25 minutes, 10 points, 4 rebounds, and he played aggressive defense overall, and he was a big reason why Michigan State won the game yesterday, and he was a big reason why they were in this game today. Had a big three as well, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, so that was encouraging. Just overall, the bigs, Coop was, playing solid down there. He was 2 for 2 from the field as well for 4 points, but only getting 1 rebound, that's tough. But obviously, you're battling Edie on there, and I think a lot of when you're playing Purdue, what you have to do is your bigs have to try their best to not even get the rebound from Edie, but try to wall off Edie so one of your wings or guards can come in and grab the rebound. It's just trying to force Edie not to get it, not your bigs getting the rebounds themselves. We saw Kohler, who was in foul trouble as well. 3 in the first half. He had 3 rebounds, 4 points as well, 2 for 2 from the field. Book got 12 minutes in this game, 0 for 2 from 3, and at the end of the game, out of that timeout after Fletcher hit that 3, we saw Izzo and the staff run the little pick and pop, roll and pop play for Xavier to get a 3 at the top of the key, and it just didn't go down. But, one, credit to Xavier for being willing to take that shot in that moment. You haven't, only 12 minutes in this game, so he wasn't in it a lot, but was in foul trouble, needed offense, needed him to come in the game with Maddie going out of the game. And he hit those shots last time against Purdue, so credit to him for being ready to shoot it. The thing was halfway down and then just rimmed out. And then also credit to the coaching staff for being willing to trust him to shoot that shot. I think that was big, and I think it'll bode well for his confidence as well. Cohen Carr played really good defense as well. He almost, if he was like a half second later jumping up to get that ball, or he jumped like 2 inches to the other side of Edie on that late inbound play, he got up there and he got a hand on the ball, it looked like, but his right hand went to the back of Edie. I believe that's why they called the foul towards the end of that game in that ending sequence. But overall, I can't really complain about what this team did. I said after the game, I think I tweeted out, I said, I think Michigan State played better than Purdue for pretty much this whole game, but especially down the stretch. I thought they executed really well. They got down. They were able to fight back, and I don't think the lead for Purdue ever got over 7-9. It stayed in that range pretty much the whole game. Kept fighting back to 4-5, then it would go 7-9. In there, get down to 3, then back up. But Purdue was never able to pull away, and you even heard Rick Pizzo on the broadcast talking about that's what he heard in one of the huddles, that they were saying like, hey, this keeps going to 7. They're not pulling away. We just have to stay in the game. Credit to them, they did stay in the game, but they just couldn't hit enough open shots tonight. 39% from the field, 22% from 3. That's not going to get it done. Encouraging 10 for 12 from the line, but you only got there 12 times. But that's just unfortunately what happens when you play Purdue. They don't call fouls on Purdue. Zach Edey, he probably has less than 5 fouls called on him this whole year, and they shoot 27 free throws. He shoots 14 himself. And, it was looking kind of good because he missed 5 free throws. He was 9 for 14. He was missing free throws. Lance Jones missed 2 free throws as well. Colvin missed a free throw as well. They were missing front ends of 1-on-1s too. I believe they missed 3 front ends of the 1-on-1. So, that was encouraging to see as well. And you kind of was like, hey, this is helping us stick in this game. And then Michigan State actually out-rebounded Purdue, which I think was a big reason why the score was what the score was. As we know, last time at Purdue, Michigan State only lost the rebounding battle by 3, and they lost that game by 6. This time, you lose this game by 5, and you win the rebounding battle by 1. That was encouraging. At times, they didn't have enough ball movement, I felt. Only 15 assists, not horrible, but Purdue did have 19. Michigan State turned the ball over more than they had pretty much all season. 13 turnovers. I think on the season they're averaging like 7 to 9. I don't have it up in front of me, but they were turning the ball over more than usual, and they were getting out on the break really well, which was encouraging in terms of going into next week in the NCAA tournament. 18-0 on fast break points. Michigan State won. But then I lie here. Looking at the team stats, I guess Purdue was up 12 at one point. I think that was probably there in the first half, but it wasn't there for long. Like I said, it was pretty much 7 to 9 range the whole game. Even though it did get to that double digits one time, Michigan State was always in this game, and they had a fantastic shot to win and to keep moving forward. But I'm not going to talk about, like, we all know. If you watch the game, you know that, I don't know what else you're supposed to do. We talked about it last time. I don't know what you're supposed to do covering Zach Edey. Every time I get, he's a big guy. He's a big human. he's got to, he has rights down there too to, make moves or bump a little bit and stuff like that. But I mean, every possession, I don't have a problem with the shoulder when he, kind of crab dribbles and, puts the shoulder and tries to back him down. I don't have a problem with that. It's the clear with the elbow that's the problem. I think that's what Izzo, the last couple matchups against Edey, that's the problem Izzo has as well. I think that's the problem most coaches have playing Purdue and playing Edey, is he doesn't get called for the elbows in there. He just uses the elbow to clear out, then just gets up the little jump hook that 5-7 inches bigger than the person who's guarding you, something like that. So I think that's the problem. But some of the flops, Lance Jones was flopping around like a fish out there and got rewarded for a bunch of calls. I mean, this was just a ref show. You had national media, not even associated with Michigan State or Purdue, saying that this was just a ref show and it was a pathetic product that was out there, and it was. Truly, but this wasn't the refs. The refs were horrible in this game. Anyone with a set of eyeballs and a second grade education can tell that the refs were horrible in this game. But the Michigan State lost this game because they shot 39% from the field and 22% from the three-point line. Couldn't hit enough open shots and turned the ball over 13 times. That was the main reason they lost this game. But other than that, I thought they did really well. Really encouraged with them going into Selection Sunday and into the first round game next week. Now where they'll go, it seems like this maybe locked them into a 10 seed going into the tournament, which I think, might be. I know that was kind of the talk amongst the fan base that, hey, like if we just keep this competitive, stay at this 10 seed, that might be better long term, because then you get a second seed round 2 should you win round 1, and the second seeds aren't as strong as the current 4 projected 1 seeds. But we'll see. Anyone can beat anyone any day in the NCAA tournament. We know that. But we'll be back on Sunday to talk about where Michigan State gets seeded, talk about the region they're in, talk about the tournament overall as a whole. We'll be back to talk about that. And then obviously we'll be back to talk about the NCAA tournament next week and bracket predictions, all that fun stuff. But overall, a tough loss because you felt like Michigan State should have won this game, that they were the better team today. But come up 5 points short today, but can't fault the guys for the effort. Coaching staff thought it was a good game plan as well. Just couldn't get enough open shots to go. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out and go green.